So I got finished reading all of this, Toy Story the Third. I got finished reading this today. And I thought as I'm putting this together to go up on the, I'm gonna put this up on the Cafe Jake archive channel, I was like, you know, I could make some fake screenshots for this. So the first thing I tried to do was take screenshots from, you know, early test footage of Toy Story from the early 90s that Pixar put out, and I tried to throw it into like AI upscaling, AI image, you know, enhancers, stuff like that, and the results are never quite great. Like, I have used AI in the past to sort of crisp up images for using the thumbnails and stuff just to make them look sharper before I edit them further, but this just looks ass. So AI. So I was like, all right, bet. Your boy's been doing some Blender lately, getting some skills of Blender under my belt, and I was like, okay, maybe someone has a model out there that I can use. So I checked and I checked. If push came to shove, I'd try to model something myself in Blender, but then I found this. Big ups Hell Inspector on the Steam Workshop has these incredible models of both Woody and Tempest from Morph. As you can see right here, they look fantastic, up to spec. Even has the funny little detail of how Woody's ankles clip through his boots right there. I subscribed to the models, and then I launched Gary's mod just so the models would download to the workshop folder. As you know, you go to Steam apps, and then you go to workshop, and then content 4000, and you know, you have new item via crowbar, and then you have the models right here in Hell Inspector, Woody Puppet. You have all these. You can't import these to Blender. You have to extract them through crowbar. So that's what I did. I went ahead and extracted them through crowbar, and I'm gonna launch Blender and see if I can get this guy right here, this motherfucker who's been terrorizing Geraldo all these years, see if I can get him into Blender. So first things first, I'm gonna hit A, delete all that shit, don't need it. Down here, I downloaded the Source Engine plugin add-on for Blender. And as you can see right here, we have woody.smd and woodyhat.smd because they're two models of the player model or the NPC in Gary's mod, obviously. So import. Damn, that's a big motherfucker. So he doesn't have textures right now. If I go into the textured viewport, there's nothing. So I'm gonna have to do the textures as well. But you can see his hat is removable. You can move it around and all that, and it's fully rigged. You see I can go into pose mode, make his mouth move and all that. Nothing but fun and games here, having a big old grand fun time at Cafe Jake Studios. So I'm gonna see what I can do about the Source Engine textures, or the textures that are rather in Source Engine, and see if I can get them ported to this bastard right here. The process was basically I was kind of intimidated at first at using crowbar, because if you look at all the stuff that you have to do to use crowbar, there's a lot of shit here. And someone like myself who has trouble like remembering 2 sentences in a book that I read, and I have to read them like 5 times to be able to have the information sink into my brain, this is you know, I just winged it. What I did was I set up games, Gary's mod, all that bullshit, and then I went into decompile. I loaded in the Woody Puppet model, and you know, everything was already checked here, and then I just hit extract, or decompile right here, my bad, decompile. And then it spat out the SMD file. I was able to pull it in here, and yeah. So what I think I need to do next is go to materials, models, Woody Puppet. Yep, here are all the bitch-ass motherfucking textures right here. I don't know if I should do the materials or the I think I should just do the textures. Fuck it. I think I'll just... or maybe I... What? Oh! Yeah, installed .NET. I thought I already had that installed. Oopsie poopsie. I would do the fake screenshots in Gary's mod, but because my wheelhouse is more, you know, Blender, and I have a little more control over the rig and how everything moves and all that shit. Ooh. more control over how the rig works and all that, and you know, with Gary's mod, the posing's kind of awkward at times, and was never really good at that. I thought that was a good reason to pull this into Blender. Another reason I wanted to pull it into Blender is because maybe it would maybe look a little more authentic. Maybe not use the Cycles render engine, but maybe rather the Eevee render engine for making these fake screenshots look more like they were, you know, done in something out of the mid-90s. Okay, so I can't take the material files and port them into Blender. They'll open in VTF Edit, as you can see right here. But as you can see in this Reddit post right here, I figured out that textures aren't stored in the VMT files. They're in the actual texture files themselves. So I have to, so what I gotta do is I gotta take the bump, which I think is the normal. Yeah, that's the normal, okay. And then there's the actual texture itself. Yep, okay. Alright, so I gotta extract all these. I gotta convert them all to stuff that Blender will actually accept. So I'm gonna, I guess, go here and then save as, or no, export. So I'm gonna put the bump of the TGA file in there, and then I'm gonna go do the okay, export. Blender should accept TGA files. So what I'm gonna do is where are the eyes? Okay, yeah, the eyes right here. Use nodes. Alright, I'm gonna split this off here. Okay, so now that I got that split up, what I'm gonna do is do a normal map and then 2 image textures. So okay, so that's how we want it daisy chained. Open. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yo, we're pogging out now. So now I gotta do this with literally everything else. Damn, dude. Look at that. We are done. Not too shabby, if I say so myself. He's in. He's ported. You know, he can move around. He can do all that bullshit. So let's try to make something like a fake screenshot. How about it? So here's a quick little narration over the process of me setting up and posing the scene. I start out with hardwood flooring, and then I go in and model the molding. I start out with some subdivisions and realized it was too curvy, so I did a loop cut and positioned it for a little indentation in the molding. And once I got that up, the white wood material and the hardwood material both came from Blender Kit, which is an add-on for Blender that you can download and add to Blender. That basically is a database where users can go in and upload assets like materials and models, like this bookshelf model that you see right here, and the subsequent books on the bookshelf. Those all came from Blender Kit, and you can download stuff straight to Blender. There's no, you know, going to this website and downloading it and then importing it. It does it all for you. So I get all that done. And then once I get that done, I scale up the wall. And the wallpaper I found from Google Images, just, you know, Andy's room wallpaper from Toy Story 2. I do the ceiling here. You can see I would go through a couple of materials before I settle on one that I like. And once I do that, then I start getting things into position, like the camera and Woody's posing. So I have him leaning down. This is the scene where he kind of leers over Andy, and he's like, you don't fuck with this cowboy, son. So that's that scene. I get his off-kilter eyeball there after it popped out. I get his eyelid into position. And one thing I did notice is that his eyebrows are not posable in this model, so I had to go in and select all the vertices for the eyebrows. You can see this painstaking process here. And then once I get them all selected, I just get them tilted down and scrunched down into an angry face. And once I finish that, then I start in on the lighting. There are 2 windows in Andy's room, and I wanted to represent that with these 2 light sources here that are colored more like the sun. And then I go in and do ambient lighting, which is like kind of like light that bounces off the rest of the room, and I colored that blue. And then I framed it down to 640 by 480 and rendered it in Eevee with ray tracing. And after I do that, I load it into GIMP. Don't judge me for using GIMP. I've used it for 13 years, and it does what I need it to. I'm used to it. And yeah, so I go in and I fix a couple of things, and then I do my process for doing like a VHS filter. It's just like making multiple layers, duplicating the layers, and then coloring them red, green, and blue, sort of merging them together, and then giving them different blurs and different distortion effects and noise and all of that. And as you can see right here, I start on some VHS tapes. You will see there's like a warbly sort of like a effect at the bottom, and I wanted to kind of represent that. And there's the final thing right there. I think it looks okay. It's not 110% authentic, but yeah. And the effort that I went into to add a little extra for this troll pasta, you know, I don't know. Call me crazy. I don't care.